My name is Dr. Nalinda Somasiri. Welcome back to the video 4. In this video, we're going to talk about the prescription analysis of the mobile data set. So we have talked about the data extraction, descriptive analytics, and visualization on the mobile data set. So this is the last part. So how we can predict trends. So let's go and dive into the problem. And remember, on the previous videos and the tutorials, we talked about the best selling mobile product, the least selling mobile product, and the revenue. Also, we also calculated that, and we have visualized this in a nice little graphs. So the final question that we need to answer is what is the prediction of the customer feedback against the time spent on the sale. So let's go back and work on the data set. If you were to go to the data set, so we have two columns, time spent and the feedback rating. So you see here, right, the how many time, the time duration that the salesperson spent on selling the product is 57, 11, 52. And also the customer feedback for the product is on the other line. So there's a sort of a correlation between these two. So what we are going to do is, see how this time spent on a product selling is going to affect the feedback rating of the product. So this is what we're going to do, and these two are the columns that we're going to use in the studies. So again, we're going to use a regression method on machine learning to identify that. It's pretty straightforward. So let's see and dive into the problem and see how we can show this in the Excel spreadsheet. So first of all, you need to go to data. So if I go to data, and then from data analysis, right, and you need to go to the regression analysis on here. So select on that, click OK, and then you'll come to the regression Y input. As you can see here, right, the time spent on the product of selling this is directly is correlation with the feedback rating. So that you can see here. So here is the dependent variable is the feedback. So the independent variable is the time. So whatever the time you spend, that affects the feedback rating. So that's why the feedback rating is dependent. So that should go onto the y-axis, and time spent is x-axis. So we go and clean this fields, right? So we can do this from the beginning. So first of all, they're asking for the input range. So the input range is your dependent variable. So your dependent variable is the y range, sorry. So we should be on that field. So we need to find the y, which is the dependent variable, which is the feedback rating. I'm using a Mac laptop, so I'm going to go for the shift control down arrow to select that column. So we have selected that, we have selected the y range, which is the dependent column, and we need to select the x, which is the independent column for the regression analysis. So select time spent column, shift control down for the Mac users, and we have selected that, select label, so we can get the column names on your display. And then we need to find out output trend. So we're gonna have something in this cell. So I'm gonna use that and select that cell, and also I'm gonna use line fit plot for us to see the plot of the line also should predict the feedback rating for the given time. Okay, we click OK, press OK to override. Yeah, so right, so we got the plot, and you see the plot here, and also the predicted lines. I'll make it bigger, right, so everyone could see it. So that's actually our time spent line fit plot, for, and you see the feedback rating is our y variable, right, which is the dependent variable. When the time spent changes, you see the feedback changes. There's a correlation between linear, we call it linear correlation between these two, because all the data set can fit to a line, right? So the time spent on the data time spent on the mobile phone selling is directly correlated with the feedback ratings here. So you see, when you increase the time spent to sell the product, and then you see the outcome also increasing with the feedback, and you have a linear regression line on here, right? That's quite good. So and then what we need to do is, to analyze this or predict things, right? Let's say if you want to find out, what is the feedback rating when we have the time 35, and when this line should predict this. So we can have a predicted line. How do we do it? Pretty straightforward. Click on this chart area or a dot on here, right click it, add trend line, go to the trend line and select the linear. You see it's a linear, right? And then also ask for the display equation on chart, and then you get the regression equation. So that will give you those two, right? So that's quite cool. We got a equation for the regression line. So anytime if I want to predict something for time spent and find out the feedback for that, we can use this regression equation. So I'll make this regression equation a bit bigger so you can see it. So that's our regression equation. So let's say if I want to find a time, find a feedback rating when the time is 35, right? The time spent on the product is 35. So we quickly go and work on it. It's quite easy. So select a cell and paste on it. So we have our equation, right? So we're gonna take y out. So we need x is the independent variable. We want to so x-axis would be a time spent, and y-axis is your feedback rating. So we want to find out, what's the feedback rating when the time is 35, right? So I'm gonna use 35 because that's that. Multiply by 35, right? And 37 is your intercept point, right? In your linear regression curve. So this one is your slope, right? So that should give us a value. So that should give us the predicted value, right? So the ratings would be 387. That's your ratings when time spent is 35, right? Time spent is 35, right? So that's the predicted value for the ratings. So this is your ratings. So I can put ratings here. So that's how I've predicted the graph, right? So that's that. So that's how we predict, and this is your linear regression curve line, and that fits onto the data points. So, and then from there you're gonna get the linear regression equation. So you see when the time set increases, so your feedback rate increasing, and there's a good correlation between feedback and the time spent, right? So so let's take this chart out for the minute, right? So in here you see some figures, right? The coefficient and then the time spent. So time spent 9.87 is your slope of the curve, right? So that's the slope. And this value 37.69, which is the intercepts, where the line hits the y-axis, right? So this is key for that. And also here you have some error analysis. So the error between the data point and the line. So that's the error calculation here. Standard error is 12.7, and we do the r-squared error also. So the key thing is, y-intercept and the gradient for a linear regression to get that line. So that's our predicted linear regression. So we can say that the time spent on the mobile phone selling is equal, it's correlated with the feedback rating, and it is a linear correlation here because the data can fit onto a line. From there we can get the equation. From equation we can find out the value for the feedback rating for the given time. So I hope you got this end-to-end solution for the mobile data set. So we have followed few steps in here to answer this customer problem. So one is initially you got to define the problem, and then you have to make sure, and we did data processing on the data, and also we went for the descriptive analytics, right? Finding mean, max, and do descriptive statistics on that, and then we went for the prescriptive analytics. We have visualized the data and see what, and also we have identified the answers for the customer problem. I hope this video is informative. Thank you very much.